Hello YouTube. I did not know if I was ever going to be able to say these words again, and fuck does it feel good. So for the people who don't know, the channel got deleted off of the platform entirely, and now it's back. It's been back for 24 hours now. Thanks to you guys. You guys bring the channel back. In this video, I'm going to explain to you exactly what happened. I'm going to give you the entire situation. Then I'm going to tell you why it made no sense, but why I was fucked regardless. And then I'm going to thank you. I'm going to take my time and just individually thank every single person that made the rebirth of the channel possible. Because without you, again, this video would not exist. The channel would not exist. Every single video would be deleted forever. So let's recap what happened a bit. In order of happening, what happened in this entire scenario is this. I decided to make a video about sexual media and how it hijacks male libido and damages the life of young men and men of all ages in reality. And what triggered the making of this video is that one day I was on YouTube as per usual, and I got a video recommended of a show called Iki Tusen that I used to watch when I was a young boy. A show that sadly was my first introduction to sexualized media that then got me down the rabbit hole of softcore porn, of then normal quote-unquote porn, even though all porn is abnormal, and then hardcore stuff, and again, pushed me towards a certain degree of addiction that took a long time to break, an addiction that damaged my life and damages the life of millions of men on this planet. So when I saw that, I thought, okay, let me see if YouTube did its job properly and if the content is age restricted, because the show is not appropriate for young men. And lo and behold, I clicked and it was not. So at this moment I thought, okay, I'm going to take that very video I clicked on that was recommended to me, I'm going to use it as background for my video, and I'm going to explain why it's so destructive and why it should never be allowed on this platform or any other platform when there is young people. So I got that down like usual, I edited the video together and I put it up, and it gets up on Saturday morning. And the second it gets published, it gets age restricted manually, meaning that someone actually did it manually. It wasn't the bot. The bot couldn't detect it, just like it couldn't detect it on the platform as a whole. So that pissed me off because, of course, by limiting the age to 18 plus, it made it impossible for my younger viewers to actually consume that content and understand the mechanisms of their own subjugation. So I did what I thought was the best choice. I went in, I censored the entire video so that to make sure that it would then be acceptable to watch for a younger audience, and I put it up again. And this time, it was not restricted, meaning that neither the bot nor someone at YouTube saw any problem with the video, at least at first. And I thought everyone was doing well. The two videos were doing fine. You guys were actually appreciative of the fact I was trying to spread some light on the issue and discuss the issue, which I've already done in the past in the NoFap video. But then, when I was working on a video, it was around midnight, on Sunday night, my entire laptop shut down, meaning that every single YouTube page I had up for research went out. At first, I thought it was a bug. But then I clicked on the page of the video to refresh it, and the message I got was, the channel that you're trying to use to visualize this content or view this content, it no longer exists, has been terminated. So of course I panic like anyone would, and I dive deeper. So I grab my phone, I go into YouTube Studio, it tells me that it cannot find the address of the account. I go, okay. I go into a different laptop, I open a different page that is not logged in anything, and I try to look up my channel. And the realization was that it was banned, and the reason given was for pornography. So I go into the Outlook associated with the channel, which weirdly was not terminated, and I looked, and yes, YouTube had sent me an email that looked to be written by a human because it wasn't automated, that told me that because I had posted pornography on my channel was terminated, that the Google account associated with the channel was terminated, that there was no way to appeal this, that I would never be able to own a YouTube channel or Google account ever again in my life, and that this was it, and that if I had anything to say about it, I could click on this link. Of course, when I clicked on the link told me that since I had no Google account, because it was banned, I had nothing to actually appeal through because the channel and the account are linked. So I was essentially fucked. It was essentially YouTube telling me, okay, we took away your channel and you have no recourse. So now what you do is nothing. You're done, it's over, you did something we don't like, it's done. In the moment when that happens to you, of course, well, the first thing you feel is despair because there is, again, no way out. You cannot ask for help. You cannot reinstate the channel via any means because YouTube took away all of my means. They even took away my means of communication because they banned me from owning a channel or an account. I was not allowed to create a new YouTube account, so I couldn't even comment on YouTube. I couldn't reach out to people. So I was in a situation where I was starting to believe it was going to be over, but it was late. There is no point in dwelling on something you cannot control. So I decided to just go to bed because I knew that the situation just made no sense. I knew that there was a problem because the way it went down doesn't make any sense. For anyone who's watching this and who understands the way YouTube functions, you should already have a lot of questions to ask me because the way the termination of a channel works on YouTube is quite scheduled and it's rigidly structured. You can't just delete a channel usually. What you have to do and what usually happens with channels on YouTube is that they first send you what is called a guideline warning. So they tell you, hey, you didn't respect one of the rules of YouTube, so this is a warning, but if you do it again, we'll have to issue a strike. And that is step number 2. It's a guideline strike. A strike says, okay, you have 1 mark, and if you reach 3 marks, we're going to give you 3 strikes. And at the 3rd strike, the channel is deleted forever and there's no recourse. The only way out of this is to appeal the strike, which appealing a guideline strike is almost impossible. Or you wait until the strike goes away. But if you get 3 again, you're out. So these are the first 2 steps. These are when you fuck up, all right? Then there is the step beyond, which is the deletion of the channel that you can appeal. It's still possible to appeal the deletion of your channel if you get 3 strikes. Then there is the step above that where no strike is needed and an employee at YouTube decides by looking at your channel that it has no place on YouTube and it needs to be deleted immediately. That almost never happens, meaning that it is incredibly rare. It's happened a few times in the history of YouTube, but keep in mind that you have people on this platform who post naked videos, especially women, who post videos of them molesting their pets, abusing their children on camera, engaging in violent acts with random people, innocent people in pranks, and these people never get treated like this. This is the treatment reserved for people who post child pornography, who post hardcore gore or hardcore pornography. And I wasn't even in that case, meaning that I did none of these things, of course, but I was treated even worse because what they did is they didn't just delete the channel. They went and deleted the Google account associated with the channel. That's a step beyond. I have never heard of anyone on YouTube that's ever happened to, ever. That's why I was so dumbfounded because I was like, wow, I truly must have done something that pissed them off because keep in mind, as I said, that I did not get striked. There was no warnings. I was near my phone on my Outlook as it happened. There was no warning. I just got an email saying, hey, you're done. That's it. Meaning that I am 100% certain that it's someone manually who deleted the channel. Now, the reasons could be multiple. It could be that because I stood up to YouTube and I re-uploaded the video that they age limited by starting with a message saying that what they were doing was unacceptable, they just decided that erasing me was the easier option because I wasn't going to give up. That's entirely possible. Maybe someone got confused. I mean, there is also the possibility, and that's even scarier, that a bot saw the channel, saw the videos and the titles, and decided, okay, that's porn, I'll delete that forever. But that would be even worse. Like, I would prefer to hear that an employee decided on their behalf to get rid of my channel, because at least it's a human error. But if it's a bot that has the power to do that, it's terrifying. And I think that anyone who has a YouTube channel, hearing what I went through, you understand the level of distress, because it's the equivalent of showing up one day to your job and being told that you're not employed anymore, or even worse, showing up to your house and the house is not there and there's no explanation and there's no way to actually go back on it. That's where I was. There was, again, no explanation. And the reason why I was so mindfucked and I didn't understand what was going on was that, again, the footage I used in the first video that got age restricted is a video from YouTube that is not age restricted, that has been there for 10 years plus, because keep in mind that the show Ikituzen season 1 was available on YouTube when I was myself a kid. I remember watching it on YouTube when I was a kid. I remember my friends talking about it because we were boys, our parents were thankfully monitoring the internet history of the computers, so we couldn't watch porn, so we watched the next best thing, and it was Ikituzen on YouTube. I remember a friend of mine writing the URL on a piece of paper and giving it to us like it was a secret treasure, and we would go and copy that in the URL bar and we would watch that. So one, the limitation of age made no sense because it contradicts their very standards on their platform, and two, that's not pornography, right? The season 1 of Ikituzen is bad, it's very sexualized, but it's not pornography based on the guidelines. And I insist on this because I never went against the guidelines. I always follow the guidelines. Sometimes I flirt with the limits, but I'm always within my good rights, following their rules. It's not like I did something that is completely forbidden and I say, oh, well, I want to do it. No, I follow the rules of the game. I play the game the way it's intended. They went and just ignored their own rules. They ignored their own tracking system. They just deleted the whole channel off of these 2 videos. And again, keep in mind that the second video was censored. So it's a type of content that they themselves let available for children on their platform that I then went and censored, and they called that pornography. So I was in a situation where I knew I was right, I knew I did nothing wrong, but it changed nothing because I had no recourse. I had no way of actually reaching out to YouTube and getting someone to look at the problem. It was literally impossible. And then something beautiful happened. The next day I woke up and I saw that a bunch of people had noticed that the channel was gone and that it was creating a lot of turmoil and that people were willing to mobilize. So what I did is I was numb. At this moment, I was not even sad or angry or anything. I just felt defeated. But seeing the amount of people that were full of energy and full of anger, bursting with anger at the injustice, made me realize that I couldn't give up. It was not the time to give up. I had to put my head down and actually get this done. Try everything I could to get the channel to be restored. Because keep in mind that when you delete a Google account, the channel has 20 days to be reinstalled, or if it's not, it disappears forever. The data is not stored. So I knew it was a race against time, but the amount of people who actually jumped on the case, some of which started the work without me even doing anything. I've had people, and I will name all of them, who started Twitter crusades, who started posts on Instagram, who sent emails to YouTube before I was even awake. So when I woke up, first thing I did is an Instagram post that you guys shared all around Instagram. So I got a ton of support on there. And then I started to work with my options. So I had a few options. I could contact people at YouTube directly. Some of you gave me contacts. I could reach out to them on Twitter, or I could go the nuclear route. And I'm going to explain what that means afterwards because this entire thing is not done yet. But I chose personally to go with the Twitter route because a ton of people told me that it was the best way to contact YouTube, which is terrifying because this means that the only way to get to talk to a human being if you have a problem with YouTube is Twitter. Every single thing put in place by YouTube to help creators does nothing because it's a bot that answers. And the bot just kept telling me, no, your channel is full of pornography. That's all you do. Like, again, keep in mind, the treatment I received is not even the type of treatment reserved for people who copy videos off of Pornhub and re-upload them on their page. Even they just get channel deleted. They don't get their Google account taken away. So this showed to me that I did something that pissed someone off, someone high up in the YouTube rankings. And I think that this thing was that I pointed out their hypocrisy. And I did that the way I explained, by reusing content that they themselves promote to children and pointing out the fact that yes, it's sexualized. And for the people who ask me, and that's a perfectly valid question and I accept it, why I was using sexualized content in a video speaking about sexual content and preaching against it, the reason is twofold. One, it's always better to show the images and the devil that you describe so that you could feel the influence of it. Because I'm sure that all of you had actually felt something watching this video and it made you realize that my words weren't just fluff. Because when you talk about pornography and sexual content, a lot of people, a lot of you guys have been born in it, molded by it, and therefore, when someone says it's bad, you just think, I've always used it, and you know, that's the way life works. And therefore, when someone actually goes hard and says, no, it's terrible, you think, okay, that guy's a little bit crazy. But if I show you and I prove it to you with illustrations, now it works better. And then the second one, the most important one, was to show YouTube and to expose YouTube for the hypocrites that they are. Because by limiting my video and then striking my channel, and not striking, deleting the channel, by saying that I was posting porn, they proved that they themselves allow porn on their platform. That was the entire point. Now, did I know I was going to get deleted because of it? Of course not. It wasn't like a master plan of me, oh, I'm going to get deleted by YouTube and then the community will come together and bring me back like the phoenix and I'm going to be much stronger. No, none of that. When I was deleted, I was at the bottom of the bottom, at the lowest of the low. But I knew I was going to get hit. I knew there was going to be consequences and I was willing. When you play the bad boy and when you play the rebellious figure, you need to be willing to actually take the hit. I was willing. What I didn't know is that the hit was going to be a fucking demolition ball coming at me 500 miles an hour. But that's what happened. So that's why I used these images. If I hurt people, if I push some people towards the relapse, I apologize to you. Keep in mind that my entire channel is not supposed to be accessible by children. All of my videos are restricted and I do it manually for every single video, that the channel is in its entirety is not fit for children. And the second video that was not censored by YouTube was censored by me. So I did my best. I still understand that for some people it's too much. It's also the reason why I put this thumbnail up. I mean, the thumbnail is a naked girl, pretty much. So I believe that the people who have real addiction problems with porn would understand and just listen and not watch. If you didn't catch my drift, it's my fault. It was too ambiguous. So I apologize if I hurt you in your attempt to actually kick porn to the curb, kick your addiction to the curb. Now, that's the reason for the use of the sexual media. The reason why YouTube is such a big hypocrite on top of that, and I'm going to finish with that for this portion of the video, is that the very show that I used is called Ikituzen. It's season 1. Season 1 doesn't contain nudity. And by nudity, I mean that you cannot see nipples, you cannot see vaginas. But there are other seasons of Ikituzen. 2, 3, 4, I think. These are the ones that are out right now. And the interesting thing is that season 1 of Ikituzen was a shonen, so it was presented as a battle series with a lot of fan service and ecchi, which means pervert, which means a little bit of boobs and panty shots, etc. But season 2 to 4 are just straight out hentai. Hentai means that it's like animated pornography. And the kicker is that YouTube itself sells season 3 of Ikituzen. So they themselves make money off of selling this content, which is a mindfuck again, because I was banned for posting porn when they themselves sell the same show to people. So which one is it? Am I a terrible person for posting porn? If that's the case, you have the same content on your platform accessible to everyone. And on top of that, you sell raunchier seasons that do contain nudity to everyone who wants it. Which would then mean that YouTube admits to selling pornography. This is why I knew that I was in my good rights. I didn't just randomly upload things that could get me banned. I knew that logically I shouldn't be touched. But the issue when you deal with YouTube is that they don't think logically. The person who deleted me, I don't know what happened, an ego trip or whatever, I will never know. But what I know for a fact is that there was fuckery afoot, because usually when YouTube deletes your channel, cancels your channel, and they reinstate it, they either go out and say, okay, we fucked up entirely and this is what happened, it was a mistake, or they put the blame on you. The first thing did not happen, meaning that they did not say, oh, a bot deleted you or this happened, which in my opinion shows that someone did it manually and they realized afterwards that it was too big and there was no reason because I followed all of the guidelines, and that because they sent no strikes, it just couldn't be upheld. So they went back and they just said, okay, we'll just reinstate him and just not say anything about why it happened in the first place. And then the second possibility where they put the blame on you didn't happen because usually the vast majority of the time when you get deleted and you get the channel back, YouTube always says, well, okay, we'll give it back to you, but you have a strike, or don't do this, it was bad, or they delete the video that got you striked. But you can see with your own two eyes that this didn't happen. The two videos are up. They age restricted the second one, which is again hypocrisy, but at this point I can't do anything about it. And they just, again, let me do my own thing. There's no strikes, there's no repercussions, which is, in my opinion, an admission that they fucked up from start to finish. I did absolutely nothing wrong. So the situation was absolutely unjust. But you guys went through, as I said, you flooded Instagram, you flooded Twitter. I'm going to take the piece of paper now. I want it to be as sincere as possible, but I have names to cite. I have people to thank personally looking at this camera because I want to repeat this. Even though I did nothing to deserve what happened to me, I know for a fact that if I had not your, that if it weren't for your support, I wouldn't be back. YouTube would have ignored me entirely. I had no recourse to contact anyone. You are the reason why my voice was heard, and I cannot thank you enough for it. So, for this community, and for the people that were involved, the actors, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. You made all of this possible. The amount of involvement, the amount of people I didn't even know existed who came out in my support, shared my post, and took time out of their day to set this right was overwhelming. And there are a few names that I want to single out because what they did was truly exceptional. So, Alpha Destiny, Alex, we made the podcast together. I've been watching you for a very long time. I look up to you and it almost feels like we've been growing together because, again, I've been following your journey for a while. You came through for me again. You, on Twitter, helped me get the visibility I needed. You took a risk because you have a big channel and at the end of the day, you don't win anything by doing that. You are once again proving that you're not in this for the money, that you are one of the most honest and kind-hearted individual on this platform. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you. Bold Omni Man, you're my bro. We've been talking for a while now. I mean, let's just put the bromance in the open, okay? There's no point in keeping the relationship hidden. This guy went out and organized an entire fax operation that I didn't even know that this technology existed in 2022. He got people to fax YouTube, and from what I've heard from the grapevine, they got so many fax that the entire thing went down. Like, you overwhelmed the fax machine of YouTube. It blows my mind. And he did that. I'm not crying, it's just that it's cold in the garage. He did that before I was even awake, meaning that I woke up with people faxing YouTube with and it wasn't just troll messages of do this or like free NH. No, it was like long ass posts of people who posted their phone numbers, their addresses saying, okay, if you want to contact me directly, do it, but this is unacceptable. I want this revoked as soon as possible. I'm amazed at the involvement, at the amount of people who put efforts in. And I know that you were instrumental in doing this, man. So thank you so much again. Thank you for the motivational manga panels that you sent me throughout the day to cheer me up. The strength that you demonstrated, the fact that you never doubted a single second that the channel would be back up. Even though, again, it's unheard of for a channel that gets canceled off of the internet to come back in 24 hours. That's also thanks to you. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Geoff, I will at some point, I've told you that in the past, je vais te renvoyer l'ascenseur. There will come a day where I do something to express the gratitude I have for you for all of the things that you've done for me. But this guy, Geoff, was the first on the case. Like I woke up, I think even before I went to bed, I woke up to him having posted about the channel termination, and he was already getting people on the case. He was already tweeting. I didn't even have a Twitter account yet. He was already tweeting at YouTube, telling them, hey, like, what are you doing? That's not acceptable. Again, one of the most honest person on the platform. You know, sometimes I think back of the YouTube fitness of old and I get nostalgic about like the powerlifting era and the rich piano era. But I'm starting to believe that this might actually be the best time of all, because with the quality of content that we have, but more importantly, the quality of humans that we have, we are golden. Like, we need to enjoy this because these are the good old days and we're building them together. So again, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for the work you put in. Thank you for spreading the message. Thank you for always using your voice to protect what you believe is right. And thank you for the edits. I think the edits is the best part. I sort of wish I could get canceled again so I could see all of the memes again. That was great. Thank you so much. I also want to thank Oppressed Natural, who has a lot of followers on Instagram and who has been sharing the post. I want to thank Mario Tomek, who I have no personal relationship with. I just know that he's a big YouTuber. I didn't even know who he was. He came through again himself, tweeted before I even had a Twitter, with a very strong vindicative stance. I appreciate you. I don't know you, but I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Tom Lazerick, I hope I pronounced that right, on Instagram, who shared the post. Thank you. Atlas Shrugged, thank you so much. Zen Mode Philosophy, thank you so much. Jeff Nippard, who also I have no relationships with at all, who personally messaged me on Instagram and get this, walked me through the process of getting my account back. We were getting to the point where Jeff fucking Nippard was helping me navigate the YouTube system better than YouTube's own employees. If that is not the sign that something is going wrong with YouTube, I don't know what is. But he was extremely patient with me, and he told me that he would do whatever he could to help me. And he actually did. He retweeted my post, my tweet on the Twitter, whatever, that got YouTube's attention. Because I want to reiterate, if I was just one pékin, as we say in French, one goon who has 0 followers and 0 likes and who tweets at Team YouTube, what are the chances of them noticing it? 0, okay? I would have been ignored. And it's heartbreaking. But when you have Jeff Nippard, Alpha Destiny, Geoff backing you up, Mario backing you up, people with hundreds of thousands, millions of subs backing you up, yeah, you can't be ignored anymore. So again, thank you, Jeff, for what you did. You had no reasons to do that. Like all of the rest of the people that did this, they gained nothing from it. They just did it out of the kindness of their hearts. And again, the quality of humans that we have, the brotherhood that we have, that people are willing to fight for what is right, regardless of if they actually gain benefit from it or not. Thank you so much for doing that. I want to thank Erzoviac, mon frère français aussi. Thank you so much for sharing the post as well. Now, I hope I am not forgetting anyone. FitLab also shared the post. Thank you for your kind messages to keep my spirits up. I appreciate you. I cannot cite every single person, of course, but I want to express to every single individual that shared the post, that posted the free NH hashtag on Twitter, that sent the facts. You created a wave of voices that allowed mine to be carried. Without you, I am absolutely nothing. Without you, the channel would still be down. From the bottom of my heart, to every single person who helped, thank you so much. This means the world. And this also shows to me one thing. Even though we might not be super numerous, even though we might not be the biggest community, I do believe that we're the strongest. The fitness community, the underground fitness community, is the strongest because we believe in what we're doing. We believe in the ability of everyone to express themselves. Keep in mind, there are guys that I just cited that I disagree with on certain levels, but it don't matter. We don't need to be the same. What we need to be is, we need to all agree on the fact that it's absolutely essential that we get to express ourselves. And we proved that today. My voice went down and everyone tried to get it back up. You know what it reminded me of? You know that super cool scene from Lord of the Rings when everyone puts the fire up in the mountains and every single mountain sees it and they put the fire up? That's what it felt like. It felt like I was part of a whole. And it's strange coming from someone like me because I'm a lone wolf. And even on YouTube, I don't really collab with people much. I stay to my own device. I do my own thing. I'm an hermit. But it truly warmed my heart to see that even an old, grumpy French frog, such as myself, could receive such support and be embraced to such a level. This reinvigorates me to a level that you can't even believe. This makes me want to work twice as hard. I know that even though this situation was, in a sense, a little bit traumatic, I know that some people would be afraid because, of course, you get shut down once, you think, what about twice? Well, it could happen again. YouTube could just be biding their time until the support dies down and then they strike again and I disappear. But I'm not going to stop. This showed to me that what I was doing was the correct choice because it pissed them off. It's something that they don't want to see pointed out. And I have no intention of backing down. I will continue for one reason and one reason only. You believed in me. You are willing to fight. You are putting in the effort. So I have absolutely no right myself to give up. I will never give up. So that concludes this. I just want to finish with this. From, again, the bottom of my heart, and this is something that I can tell you I can stake on my honor as a man. For all of the people I cited, if you ever have a problem, if you ever need support, even if it's nothing to do with YouTube, be it in 1 month, 1 year, or 10, for as long as I live, I have a debt of gratitude I contracted towards you. If you need my help, call. I will be there. And if anyone gets their channel deleted, call. I will fight for you, just like people fought for me. This is the reason why I make videos. Because again, I can tell you that I was numb when this happened. I wasn't really worried about the time I put in or my own possession of the channel being just deleted. What I was worried about is that I had lost my connection to this community. And this community is everything to me. I make videos to help people. I'm not interested in anything beyond that. It's all I've ever wanted to do. And now I get to do it with other people who I know share the same passion. And all of the value is in this. I will never let go of that. And you guys gave it back to me. So again, thank you so much. And that is going to be that for this video. So as for re-uploading the video uncensored, I can't do that now because what YouTube has done pretty much is that they put me in a situation where if I do it, they can go back and say, see, you did post pornography and you did it again. So we're deleting you, even though it makes no sense. It's hypocritical because they have a ton of sexual content on their platform, but you can bet your ass that they would do it if they could because they have already shown that they want to get rid of me. So that's one thing. For the Google account situation, a sad byproduct of it is that because they deleted the account, every single comment I've ever posted as natural hypertrophy is gone, all of them. So I'm sad because it's part of the history of the channel. I grew the channel with my comments and now they're all deleted. So that if you don't see them anymore, that's the reason why. It's also the reason why YouTube should respect due process and not just cancel people's account because then it cannot be reinstated fully, but at least I have the channel back, so I'm not going to complain too much. And as far as the future uploads of the channel, I will get back to work immediately tonight. I will start re-uploading the normal content for this channel on Friday, and it's going to resume as usual. I am, again, not going to back down. I have a ton of very politically incorrect topics I'm going to keep tackling. I'm going to keep protecting my little brothers and sisters against the perversion that is pushed on them and that makes their lives miserable. This is my calling. This is what I want to do, and it's what I'm going to continue doing with your help and your support that I appreciate so much. And I'm going to leave you with this. Thank you so much for everything you've done. For as long as I live, I will never forget all of your efforts. Have a good night.